Hi, Loomies. Welcome to the Illuminators podcast. We are so stoked to be back after a long and much needed break. This is the first episode of the summer portal. Woo! And as you can see, co-host Lyss is not joining me today because I have a beautiful, sad...
What? I'm not Lyss?
Guys, we can't tell the difference between these two incredible...
Just kidding.
Big but sad update. Lyss, my beautiful, brilliant co-host who started the genesis of this incredible podcast, has transitioned her energy elsewhere and is skyrocketing in the world of Pilates. We are so excited and proud of her and so grateful that the world is giving her the praise and the recognition that she deserves. So if you know her Instagram, highly recommend going and reaching out and taking a class with her. And I wanted to bring in a beautiful co-lead for today regarding a subject that Lyss and I spoke about recently. And really, it's what she is embodying right now is putting your energy into one thing, allowing the law of the universe to really expand you by going down this one road. And that is what she's done. But today, I'd love to hop on this summer portal by talking about the energetics of open to close. Now, who's joining me today? Let me introduce you. Angela Hutchinson is a woman of many talents, but
thank you.
for now, how she is showing up in the world is a transformational group seminar keynote speaker. She hosts team bonding trainings in corporate world. She is a breathwork facilitator. She is an adhesion to whatever it is that you need in your life, truly, from all facets, to helping you come into greater connection with yourself and others. So,
Thank you. I didn't tell her to say that. So.
She didn't. I just love praising the brilliant women that I have in my life, and of course helping me with this new portal and allowing me to transition how we're going to show up for this. Because Lyss, we miss you, but this thing is going off. You put us into motion, baby, and here we are.
Dude, Lyss had it down, like laptop out, roadmap to each discussion.
Incredible. We don't know how this podcast is going to go in regard to the future of its structure, but we're excited to see where spirit leads. And, you know, going back to this brilliant subject that I wanted to bring up today, the energetics going from open to closed, right? And now when I say open, what I really mean is this boundaryless posture, this limitless posture, this, you know, no goals, but more an explorative, right? If you want to look at it from an archetypal way, it's like the maiden. She's just out, she's exploring, she's like gathering information, but there's not really like a goal or a streamline, right? And then to close, so devotion, structure, containment, clarity, really. It's like tightening up. So we can go down so many avenues when it comes to this and what encompasses these energetics in so many areas and facets of our life. But I wanted to ask you, Angela, in that regard of open to close, what first comes to you and how you facilitate the things that you do for the world?
I like how you tied that together. Yeah, it's funny because I feel like when people hear the word open, you know, that kind of sounds positive. And then we hear closed and that sounds negative, right? But where me and Lindsay were coming from with this is that, can I say it?
Say it all.
Okay, so when we first met each other, we both were in a very polyamorous practicing type of world where partners meant plural S, right?
Totally.
And
or at least being open to, there are always so many options, right? If this is working for now, but if it doesn't, there's just always this like openness and this possibility.
right.
Posture.
Yes. And then let's fast forward about a year or a little more later, and we're both monogamous.
And very conservative at that, right? It's like
Yeah.
this switch that happened, and it's crazy how it's unwinding.
Right. And so when you think of it in those terms, you know, maybe there isn't really as much of an opinion around which one is positive and which one is negative. So when it comes to the corporate world and all these teams, these small businesses that have groups with different job positions, when it comes to whether they're open or they're closed, I kind of compare them to how we show up in a romantic life. And so if people are open in the work area, what I use as indicators for that is that there's a lack of boundaries. Maybe it's harder to reach goals because the openness can lead to flightiness or maybe less of that stability to get to that task. And then when people are closed, there is a structure going on. They know what their job position is. They know how to show up for work, right? And so we're kind of just trying to show people how to feel safe being closed, as in safe being in the structure that makes sense for them, that lets them show up as a leader in their space so that they can have teamwork with everyone.
And that's so important. I mean, coming from a background of corporate America, right? It's like, especially within recruiting, right? You're trying to understand a job description, like what role am I taking on right now? And where does my energy need to be focused so that that thing can be at its highest point or its zenith, right?
True.
Like where, and which is interesting because it always, I feel in my experience, always ended up taking on other hats, right? It's like people are burnt out because you're taking on so many, your energy is thinned because you're taking on so many ways and being, again, this like limitless possibility of, well, I'm doing this and I'm doing this and I'm doing it. It doesn't give this streamline energetic to, this is all I'm responsible for and this is what I'm staying in. So all the glittery stuff that's around me no longer is distracting because it's a clear indicator and a container of this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, right?
That is so well said. And an example of that would be, let's say there's someone on the corporate team named Johnny and there's someone named Amy. And let's say Johnny's not good at talking to people. And that's Amy's best thing to do. But Amy took on too many tasks that day. She isn't finished with the paperwork. And she's saying, Johnny, do you mind greeting the new customers? The best thing Johnny could do is know his structure, be closed with a boundary and say, no, Amy, I'll scare away the customers if I'm the one that does this. I'm not equipped to do it. Let's help you out so that you can be the one that shows up.
Okay.
Boundaries.
So cool.
Yeah.
So this is what you do. You go into these groups and they tell you like what their struggles are?
Yeah, usually it's, the head of the team, whether it's the manager or the owner themselves. I almost said himself.
Oh, we are unlocking all the conditioning glitch. Step at a time.
Yes. So anyways, usually it's the owner who's able to have that bird's eye view and be like, oh my gosh, these patterns that are happening. As a leader, I know it's my fault. Like, help me out. And then, of course, that goes into like looking at everyone and their job position as a puzzle piece, which means individual psychology, and then showing everyone how to have team bonding and team cohesion and feel authentic in their own pillar to show up for the group's pillar.
So cool. And I want to go back to just even the joking about, right, this like leadership role, this masculine. I think it's a huge thing that's coming out in the main line or in the mainstream right now of like gender roles and the energetics of masculine and feminine energies, right? Which we're not talking about, gender, that everyone has masculine and feminine energies within them. And it's actually the union of those two things within an individual that creates structure, right? To allow the being to have its fullness in any situation or how they're experiencing life. So it's funny because I think, Angela and I connect on this when we're going back to the subject of having a time in our lives where it was very necessary to be open and to have no boundaries and to maybe push the boundaries, right? Or to deconstruct what we thought needed to be boundaries because that was based on conditioning or what was, given to us by society or whatever we thought was right? But being in that space of allowing ourselves to find the different ways to be, to gain love, connection, blah, 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 whatever we were searching for in those times, it was necessary because now I do see this essence of coming deeper into my feminine essence, right? And it feels like this like counterbalance within me of like, but now I feel soft. Now I feel more contained and closed. Or my feminine can be more open because I'm more contained and closed. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that. It's like we are deconstructing what we thought we should be, right? Because there's a feminist movement that goes hard on that, like women can and will and have the capability to be that leader. And we do, absolutely. But we're also figuring out there's such a different way in which to be a leader, right? That there's this ease and we cannot show up in the ways that we used to and the ways that our ancestors did, right? So I'd love to talk to you a little bit about that. Like in your own life, whether it's romantic, whether it's with your work, how has this energetics from being open to closed expanded you? It's like, where to go first?
I love that, but I have a question for you before I like open up all of that. Like you're saying, you found all these benefits to being open, and I was curious. I don't think I've ever actually heard like what those benefits were, but I'm very curious why it felt safer to you to have less boundaries back then.
In my personal experience, I was so rigid and structured because I had a drug experience that blew my mind and my body and me in total imbalance.
What was it?
Chaotic. Molly.
Plot twist.
Back in 2012 when Molly was like, everyone was popping them like candies. I don't know where they're at this time in the world. However, this experience for me and my body threw me into such openness that I had to grasp onto anything that could feel a little bit grounding. So
during it?
Yes, the post experience was extremely difficult for me because I dove into religion because it was the only structure that was helping me try to articulate what was happening in my body and my mind. And when you suppress, because, it's just like such an energetic thing that we're doing with this whole subject, right? It's like, yes, I was trying to contain what I had experienced through the lens of this one thing, but it actually wasn't in a deep somatic flowing way, right? It was like, I'm so scared I have to grasp on, right? So like the grasping of the structure. So when I finally, the point a decade later in my healing journey, when I realized I've suppressed so much in this particular realm, which was my sexuality, my sensuality, my worthiness, my ability to explore the parts of me that I didn't even know that I wanted or needed to like really know who I am. Truly self-realization, right? It's like you don't know what you want until you explore what you actually don't want, or you realize, oh, I'm collecting data here. This is like actually not what I want. But if we don't give ourselves permission to be open, to explore, I really would have never known the possibilities that I now am walking in. So for me, it was a very deep and long journey of allowing myself to be open. Now, I will say, I left my whole situation in the romantic world and explored it from this place of, I know this is what I need. There was no extraction from it, really. So like, I was healing parts of me, but I wasn't giving the openness the full kind of power, I guess. It was like, I'm just being present with what I know I need now. And what I know I need now is like, this is totally true, right? Yeah. But I will say, yes, there was a part of me, especially even in my last relationship, that like, I probably need to be open because there's no way I can be closed just to who I am, right? We're just like open, explorative, adventurous beings. And I couldn't conceptualize that could fit into, romantically speaking, a monogamous relationship, right? Like maybe I wanted to think that, but I didn't see any proof of that being possible until I started to become open and again, give all the energy, like the free reign to realize, oh, this is not actually satiating what I really want. But to me, I always have seen what I really want doesn't even come into clarity until like hindsight. It's like I don't really see what I really truly want until I experience what I don't want.
Yeah, that's the personality type you have, which is like you're only gonna learn when you actually burn your hand on the hot stove.
Very
they can
much
tell you
so.
it's hot, you're gonna be like, huh? What?
Dude, it's It's the double-edged sword. It's like, I can see all the ways in which just the way of being is going to be at my detriment, but I will not leave the house until it's on fire.
I respect it. I think that means you're a kinesthetic learner and like you want to experience the depths instead of just hearing what someone said.
And trusting someone else's experience over
Yeah.
that. Yes, I definitely like to touch it. I like to get my toes in there.
Closed, are you?
Let's reorganize what you mean by, what do you really mean and how closed are you?
Okay, yeah. So what did you ask? You were like, oh, what was the journey of open to closed?
Yeah, in these energetics of being open to close, since we share that same sentiment of thinking that, you know, the openness is going to be the allowing the openness in our lives for anything is going to be the thing that satiates us. And now coming into a place, at least romantically and even in business endeavors, right? Feeling this actual expansion in the closed.
Right. Okay. Oh my God. Because I pretty much was polyamorous for like 6 or 7 years. And before that, I like to call it polyamory, but really like I was just in relationships where one or the other or both were cheating on each other. But yeah, it was open in a way, just filled with betrayal. So this is actually a quote that Lindsay shared right before we got on, and it just blew my freaking mind. But she said, the expansion happens in the closed circle, right? So I can't speak for every feminine person out there, but I do think part of our hormonal makeup as a woman is that we were meant to receive. We want to lay back. You know, we're not the doers all the time. And so when something feels safe enough or contained enough to be called a closed circle, of course expansion would happen on our part. Of course we could lean back and fully receive what that means. So in a relationship, what fully receiving means is, you know, also being willing to show up. Not running away when something's triggering. Because personally, I can't speak for everyone again, because I feel like polyamory is kind of a touchy subject.
Definitely.
When I was in it, I was just so relieved that polyamory meant if one partner and I were triggering each other, thank God I had 2 or 3 other partners that I could now conveniently show up more for and be less triggered in life with, you know?
Yeah, and not deal with that thing that's in between the two.
Yeah, so for me it was kind of a cop-out, and so now having more closed parameters, aka more structure, is leading me and my current monogamous partner to uncover things that I now see why all my other relationships failed. Like I'm now actually ready to lean in, admit things, and let these shadows become light.
So good. And you know, this, yeah, like you said, polyamory is such a interesting subject because I have a diverse group of people that I connect with, right? That are never, would never consider polyamory. But like, who we're speaking to is people like us, right? These chicks, the cool girl who you've put on an act for a long time because it is the way in which you received validation, love, worthiness. But because when we, in my personal experience, and I know you can relate to this, when I suppress my femininity, my soft, sensitive as hell, actually not safe to be vulnerable self, presented as a nothing fucking phases me, dude. Like nothing phases me. You can't make me jealous. You can't hurt me.
You only hung out with the bros.
Because the bros got me better. All these chicks are so sensitive. It's like, bruh, relax.
Let me guess. For some reason, you can't really be friends with girls, or you'll just hook up with them.
Who are we speaking to right now?
Do any of these ring a bell?
Yes, and I mean, yeah, even to the chicks. Now there's like a whole other side in a rabbit trail, right? Of like, maybe you haven't felt like that's ever part of your own journey is to be open. However, you extract from your closed container, right? You actually are clinging to the closeness to be able to to validate yourself. I think of it as this extraction, right? There's like also people who have this possessiveness. And I think we talk, like the polyamorous group does talk a lot about, well, I don't possess them.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, there's like this, like, but there's like another side of the coin where it's like, okay, you've never explored and been open, and we're talking romantically, right?
Oh.
But there's an unhealthy energetic that's happening within the monogamy, that there's not expansiveness allowed because there's an extraction happening, right?
Okay, so it's almost like the trap in monogamy could be that people want to contain their partners.
Yes.
Okay.
And like, and I'm sure a lot of people don't feel safe admitting fantasies that they have, wanting to explore. That's, for me, that was so healing, coming into, or finding the tantric, the Western version of tantric open polyamorous community, was like, they're giving me permission to feel that I'm not crazy, to feel that I'm not,
so super accepted
and loved, and like celebrate, not even just loved, but like celebrated for being open in these ways, right? Yeah. And we can say all day, like, well, partners should be open, but it's like
the moment you say should, you're wrong. Like, they
don't
could.
should on yourself.
Yeah, they would if you were different. Just kidding.
Yeah, but do you see what I'm saying? Is like the
Yes.
polyamory and the aspect of the openness, and then if you've never wanted to explore in that way and you're more of a monogamous person, I just implore you to ask, okay, but am I allowing openness within this, right? Am I not being closed off in a constrictive way? So yeah, I think I'd love to go into the different, because I have felt that. I don't know if you felt that in your life. Have you ever been in a monogamous relationship, in a monogamous and committed relationship, that was very different feeling of what you're experiencing now in a monogamous relationship?
Yeah, about 2 years ago, me and a former partner, we both decided, let's let this be our first monogamous relationship on both ends ever. So it was exciting, but after many, many months, because I do think it takes a couple months for like some of the deepest insecurities to come up.
Sure.
They just started to hide my clothes. So that, because some clothes was too revealing for their comfort. And as that can lead to a good discussion, I think that the controlling part came from just like making the decision to hide the clothes.
Interesting.
I'm like triggered right now. You're like laughing. I'm like,
you're like, actually, now that I'm talking about it, it's causing charge in my body, and now I need to process it.
My eye's not twitching. It's just windy on one side. That's all.
Yes. So that is a beautiful, entryway into how, no matter how, open and seemingly supported you can feel in something, the true beauty in becoming closed, or becoming at least more contained, is that it should create this almost mobile and fluid thing to expand within, right? That's like there's an energetic, the law of the universe. I don't know why this is coming to me that I have to put my hand in here, but there's the hand, there's just the stream of energy allowing the flow, that there's a containment. There's not just like this, this open, I'm thinking of water right now. When water, the stream and the river looks so beautiful because it's like this containment that's going into the bigger ocean, right? It's like,
ooh, nice.
Yeah, it's like these streams coming down, and those could represent, right? Like your relationship, your energy of where you're putting, you're like, okay, there's a million ways to exercise, but which is the one that works for me? This goes, I'm like tying it back to, even in corporate America, how we work, how you operate. It is so important to find how your body is responding to the stream and sticking with that stream, because that is what's leading into the greater ocean of possibility of expansiveness and safety.
Well, that means that, the way you're speaking about the stream, that's all about faith. Like, do you believe that life has a natural current that inevitably takes you to a body of water that's best for you? And if you don't believe that, then you'll find that you're holding on to rocks. You're trying to go upstream, and that's where all the suffering is.
What's your definition of suffering?
Not accepting. So if something is still super painful, or there's grief, but you are accepting, I don't think that's the same as suffering. I think that's like experiencing an array of emotions or like grieving. And yeah, I think those aren't the same exact words.
Yeah, suffering is coming from a place of the loop, right? It's like this, it's the stuck in the limiting belief of whatever is happening instead of the, and it's funny too, we find God at the polarity, we find God at the contradiction always, right? It's like when it comes to suffering, it's not being in the closed, but being open to accepting and opening so that things can flow. And it's funny because when I think of open and boundaryless and limitless and contained, right? It's like we can get caught up in so many ways that is not good, is not like helpful for the specific situation. Don't know where that was going. That was a little tangent.
Well,
it was a stream.
Exactly. And I want to think about how we can compare when nature closes and why that's better. So
tell us.
Well, there are certain types of flowers that at night they close because there are predators, different bugs or animals that they feel are predators that when they close, they're less susceptible to. So that's an example of when choosing and being very particular on why and what you're closing is very, very helpful.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is maturity or whatever this kind of subjects, whenever it enters your life and it becomes like a way more bright and apparent of the beauty of becoming open, from going from open to closed, right? Is like even friend groups. Now, I was always the girl who is the chameleon. Now this is part of my makeup and my human design of like being able to go into different groups and really blend and connect with them. But I have found as I get older and more mature and more keenly aware of my energy, it's like actually the closed tight circle is where I get the most expansion, the most support, right? Because it is this safe, trusted, this devotion. I think that, closure or closed containment is this unconditional place of like through all the seasons and through all your becoming, it's still this like safe. It's the consistency, which it's funny because in the like spiritual polyamoric world, it's like, well, consistency has to be like we speak about consistency, but what does it actually look like to show up and not push where it's maybe not true anymore?
Right.
But stay consistent.
Because even with polyamory, there still is a closing because there's like a mutual agreement even on the fact that you guys are polyamory. So in a sense, that's that little degree, or maybe not little, but sorry, I don't want to sound judgmental. We're not like anti-polyamory. Like, I just want that to be clear.
There's such a purpose that way of being serves, right? Are you being true? And this is where, I think too, people can hear, are you actually happy? Like, are you just denying and abandoning your truest desires because you think you shouldn't be that way, or you are to close anything would like not mean that you're owning that your desire is, yes, to be held, to be chosen, to be in a closed thing. I mean, that was a hard thing for me of like, oh, I want to be chosen and I want someone's undivided attention.
That was so well said. Yeah.
So difficult to actually swallow that pill though for like the recovering cool girl who is just open.
You're still a cool girl, just not recovering anymore.
We're just fully embodying the coolness because when you are a cool girl, you don't know who you are. Okay. To be cool means you admit I'm dying every day to the things, to the identities, to the ways in which I thought were so solid in me. It's like, oh, now I'm actually safe enough in my body, in my nervous system to allow those ways to die.
How do you learn how to live? By learning how to die. Yeah, when I was polyamorous, it was because my priority was to be able to experience females and males intimately or sexually. And right now, that's just not my priority. My priority is to know that there's like a very secure commitment every day that I can know what to expect with. And so neither of those priorities are good or bad. So hopefully this helps anyone understand why they choose what they're choosing.
Yes, totally. The why is a huge thing, and being fluid enough to understand that your whys and your truths do change. But can the committed closure, I've heard of this, I don't know if it comes from a Hindu tradition or Tibetan, but it's called the Zimzum. The Zimzum of love. Have you heard of this?
No.
Zimzum is, I almost think about it as like a
Zimzum.
This
It's fun.
diagram. What is
Venn diagram?
The Venn diagram.
Lyss, help. We need you. Just kidding.
She's so clear on the road.
She would have known.
We don't have a roadmap. We're allowing the streams to lead us.
She didn't know what Venn diagram was. Okay. Come back.
The Zimzum of love comes from this place that you are two whole circles, right? Within your own closed container within you.
Yes.
These two, and how I'm articulating it currently in my life and using the language of the divine, feminine, and masculine within you, right? There's the father and the mother figure. Not talking about your earthly. I'm talking about the creation blueprint, right? Is both of these things in a beautiful union together. Of course, coming from all unconditional love and oneness, right? That there is no gender, there is no separation. But because we are experiencing our true nature in duality, right? Through the lenses of masculine and feminine, it's allowing this divinity, this union within you to overlap and to serve each other in this way, right? And I think that, just going back to what I mentioned in the beginning about how the whole masculine and we throw around these words a lot, and there's so many ways in which I can articulate what they mean, right, through the energetics perspective. But coming into me understanding, I actually haven't been operating on what a divine feminine essence is, because there wasn't a way for me to feel safe enough yet.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And I think that safety also has so many words, and you really don't even notice how unsafe you feel until there's some sort of hindsight, or you get to experience what it feels like to feel safe, and to give that permission of owning your desire, right? Of oh, this is what I'm actually looking for. And I love that what you said is your intention for being polyamorous was a specific thing, right? It's you have to be leading your life in a way of this is what I know I need right now. It probably will change, but open to close. I love what you said about nature. Is there any other nature things you can think of that have this, which is hilarious because I think it's the breath too. The whole earth is literally breathing, right? It's this closing and opening. It's just such a natural movement of us.
Well, one thing that comes from a book, the book's called Boundaries. They explain how you can define boundaries for yourself is that it's just a fence that knows when to open. So your boundaries, there's degrees of your boundaries having an open door, because the point of boundaries is not that you keep everything out. It's that you are now finally particular on what you're allowing in.
How does that show up in your life?
Oh my gosh, through work. I feel once anyone becomes an entrepreneur, they already declared a certain closing, and that's a level of sovereignty that they want for themselves, whether it's sovereignty on their schedule and time, or sovereignty on what they say yes and no to money-wise. That's why people stepped into entrepreneurship. So that right there is a fence that got built. And now they're saying yes to specific things that they will tolerate for their own career or business, right? So that right there.
So beautiful, yeah. Boundaries. Boundaries is not shutting out. It is just this way that you can know, oh, that's what doesn't work for me. But like you said, it can shift and open according to such specific situations. But what is the best way that you have found in your personal way of understanding, like, what is your truth for a certain season? What does it feel like in your body?
I love how you say for a certain season, because it kind of takes pressure off, and you're so fluid with understanding that things change. Like with Lyss, where Lyss is an example of closing, showing up for podcasts because she knows that's going to open and pour into the dharma she's going for with the Pilates.
I have chills because we were going to talk about that subject. It's like a rendition of this one, right? It's the power of putting your energy into one thing and how that actually expands everything else. Literally, what you are looking for, your intention for doing anything. It's like, I say I struggle with this because I think it's my personality type to be exuberant about a million things.
Yeah.
But, you know, the more I try to listen to, like, oh, when I do put my energy towards one particular thing, I actually end up getting all the things that I'm looking for.
Right? This is going to sound savage, but when I put all my energy into being polyamorous, I was so polyamorous. Really compounded the amount of partners I had. So, like, I can agree with you on all fronts.
Yes, which creates more problems. It's like almost like everything. Like
more money, more problems.
That's what I was thinking. More money, more problems. If you don't know how to operate the money, okay, where's the streams? Where are they going? Are they going into? Are you being financially? I don't even say savvy. It's like, are you having the money work for you? Because it's not like now I've opened all these things.
How many streams of income do you have?
Right now, I only really have 2. And that's something that I've also been trying to listen deeper into because...
I'm so sorry. That won't happen again.
Back to... What was I saying?
You said you had 2 streams of income.
That's true, yeah. 2 streams, but I feel that I want to create that. And I think that everyone really is like getting into like understanding more of not only is that possible for me to do, right? Yeah. And going back to entrepreneurs, if you're not an entrepreneur yet, you can definitely still build this, right? You're giving your energy to one thing, but like having side gigs and having these side hustles, as they say in culture, it's like I've been wanting to explore more of how that if we're going into the subject of money, of like how the openness of that can create some sort of safety, I guess.
Could you elaborate or maybe like word that in another way?
Yeah, I think that, well, what I feel in regard to my stream of income is I go back and forth between, should I be giving more energy to this one stream or should I be giving energy to this stream, right? Or should I be opening more? But this is interesting because it is actually kind of combating my polyamorous thinking.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm polyamorous still in the ways that
I'm calling Matt right now.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I'm so poly in the ways that I assess what I want to do and what I want to, how I want to spend my time, how I want to spend my energy.
So let's just like deconstruct what's happening here.
Watch this coaching session right now. Seriously, tune in.
If you tell me anything about what you're thinking, I'm going to be like, let's lean in.
Lean in and deconstruct.
But when it comes to how you're saying, you know, you're almost comparing your polyamory ways of thinking or that lifestyle with money now. Well, why was polyamory helpful for you?
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, it gave me a sense of permission that I was looking for, that I was allowed to be curious about things. I was, and this is definitely what I'm dealing with right now, being only 2 years into entrepreneurship, is like giving myself permission to explore. How do you want to open?
You're 2 years into entrepreneurship?
Yes.
And you have a podcast? How did you quantum leap all these different ways? Okay.
Quantum leaping is we'll talk about that in a whole other episode.
I would love to listen to that one.
It's so true. Quantum leaping is so possible.
So it sounds like with the money, right now, what's helping you and your priority is to be allowed to give yourself permission to wear different identities. That's really cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
I almost wonder,
streams.
though, when you talk about how you feel pretty open in the income streams right now, if there's like a sense of like disempowerment, or you're wishing it could go a different way.
Yeah, I do find myself feeling like taking on, you know, what you hear in the coaching realm, or in like the soul-led entrepreneurial realm, is like, do what you love and make money from it. It's like, yes, I have figured out in my one sense what I built my first endeavor in business in is definitely, I love this and I'm making money from it. However, I also use that in other ways to like, oh, but I also love doing this stuff, and I try, but then the intention switches to, I'm trying to extract from this because there's like a scarcity, and I'm like, why am I doing this? Am I doing this because I want it to go somewhere, and it's actually not out of like pure just ease and fun, and it just so happens that it's going to create a stream of income? Or am I feeling like I'm good at that, so it should create a stream of income and I have to go towards it? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally makes sense. I would say that it seems like it's really clicking how we're comparing like the dating world or polyamory to finance, right? So then if that's the case, would you be like, I'm only going to hang out with Billy because maybe that means we're going to like be able to birth together or like have sex, right? Or is it like, Billy can come to me? Like, for now, I'm going to just have fun whenever I see Billy, no expectations. And then maybe there would be a different outcome. So then same thing with like what you love to do. It's like, well, if you really love to do it, it will be happening, right? Regardless of if it starts making you money or not.
Right.
And then usually when you have those no expectations, like, it comes flocking towards you.
If you're a polyamorous entrepreneur and you need coaching, Angela Hutchinson is your girl.
What?
It's a whole new program. She's going to launch it soon.
I need to quickly make like a niche package for that. Just kidding.
Very niche.
So
if you're
funny.
a polyamorous entrepreneur.
Oh my God. I mean, this is like the thing I've learned throughout the years, that everyone has like reached success in a different way. So
amen.
Yes, yeah, if you've figured out a way for yourself, of course it makes sense for you to teach people what that way is. But truly, the best way for everyone might look pretty different, and everyone's still going to reach that success.
Yeah, totally. And when it comes to feeling all the streams available, right? I think what I've recently been, of course, it's just like all coming back to this polyamorous thing of like being on social media and like taking in all of the possibilities. And then, and again, it's totally in my own like design, feeling so open to those and feeling and truly seeing the success of like, oh, if I put my energy in that stream, it would totally be dope.
That's an example of the open versus close. I think a way to close could be like, why am I about to go on social media right now? Is it to find all those possibilities and bullet them down, and or
choose my baby by getting off of the app? No, seriously, that is exactly what I feel I am currently in the matrix of right now, or detaching from the matrix of social media. I've been talking about this not only on my social media, but I think I've probably mentioned this a few times on this podcast in the previous episodes about how, and I talk to people about this in the world of, it is such a tool, but it is truly, I has me by this cleft hoof.
Well, hey, any good tool should be able to have someone by a cleft hook if it's a tool, right?
It's a great tool.
Just learn how to use the tool.
We're learning how to use the damn tool. We're still learning. We're learning.
I feel like a song birthing right now. Learn how to use the tool.
Don't be one, just be using it.
Learn how to use the tool. Okay, our brains don't calculate the difference when we scroll. So if we scrolled and we just saw like a fitness video, our brain thinks that we were at that gym experiencing that fitness video. So it's really adding to this overwhelm, because in a sense it's kind of like lazy and overstimulated at the same time.
Yes, you're not actually moving your body, but your brain is moving.
So there's a hack to this, if we know that our brain does that, we can smile right now. And for some reason, all the happy chemicals are going through our body, right? So these are tools. Our brain is such a tool. So when we go on social media, let's remember that it's also going to think it just experienced whatever post you just looked at. It's going to feel like that person was with you just now.
So interesting. I feel like we could go do a whole episode on that. I'd love to connect more on that. So I think we've gone down a lot of rabbit holes, but all coming back to these energetics, these beautiful ways of looking at anything in your life, anything that you are either experiencing, how you are approaching friendships, your career, your dating life. From open to close, where are spaces that you can actually contain your energy and allow that to show you what can expand when you give your energy to that one thing for a certain amount of time, even giving yourself this structure, right? Closing it, saying, I'm giving this 3 months and I'm only giving it that is my attention for 3 months, and choosing. I think that sense of choice is like such a beautiful and mature way that I'm learning I can step up and be.
I love that you prompt that and you kind of give everyone an encouraging challenge.
Choose and see where it takes you.
Yeah. Aww.
And where can people find you if they're interested in any type of session from you? I know you are such a transformative being in regard to even more personal work, or like I said, group facilitations or keynote speaking or being a host or an MC. She's the freaking best MC. Where can we find you?
Thank you. So I plan to leave my email in the Spotify caption. And my Instagram is Holistic Tigers with an S at the end.
Cool. Follow her on Instagram, but reach out on an email in case the whole thing goes down, which we're hoping for one day, and we all have to just be in real life together.
What?
Like old time's sake.
Oh, God.
See you on the next episode, Loomies. We're so grateful to be back. We don't know where this is going next, but I promise it's going to be good.
Oh, love that.
Ciao.
Bye.